David Simon, it's almost, well, in fact, it is actually 310 days now since COVID-19 was first detected in Jamaica. How do you rank the government's handling of the pandemic?
Well, I would rank the government's handling of the pandemic as a 7 out of 10. I think earlier in the pandemic, they were certainly much more attuned to what was taking place. I rank the government based on three dimensions: health and enforcement, economy, education. So, as my colleagues would have mentioned, in terms of the health and enforcement aspect, while we are still doing a fairly proactive job in keeping the citizenry informed about the impact of the pandemic, I see that in some regards, enforcement has been lax in certain communities.
I would say that I give the government an 8. I believe that they've been doing the best that they can with the resources that they have, with the affordability, with the know-how. And I think that that is a reflection, as you know, or it has been reflected in the number of cases that we have. I mean, we have a population of almost 3 million persons. And if really and truly this matter was mismanaged, we would have approximately, over 1 million persons contracting this virus. And I think they've been doing a good job as it relates to the health sector. I also think that the quick response in terms of moving schooling to an online modality, whilst us as students, we don't enjoy it, truthfully, it has been for our benefit. I think I give the government an 8 out of 10.
It is clear that the control was for some classes or a certain class more than the other. So whereas low socioeconomic class persons definitely had to abide by all the rules, we saw where the richer folks did what they want and got away with it because of their background. Or, well, I'm assuming it has to be because of their background, because that's the only difference that was saying, look at me. So that's why I gave the 7, because there are more persons in the lower socioeconomic group. So once we control them, then sure, the risk is going to go down. But I believe rules should be all across the board. It should be a standard met by everyone if we're going to meet it.
So I'd give them an 8. And specifically speaking to the education sector, I do believe that the response to, being innovative with the learning system, I think the approach that they've taken, as Ashley would have said, though it's not in the favor of students, I think, they have tried their best to see, okay, an online system that works for our students and to continue education and ensuring that, our students are learning. And so I definitely give them an 8.
I would say a 6, simply because a huge part of managing the pandemic, for me, maybe because I'm from that lower class, is that I believe that much more effort and attention should be placed on the lower class, the rural schools, also the persons who have to say sell jerk chicken on the roadside, those kind of people. So I believe that right now what is happening is that based on the laws that are in place and everything, and even with school and most persons in the rural areas not having Wi-Fi and everything, they have been out of school since March. It is going to further widen the inequality gap, because those who can afford it, they're continuing school, they're okay for the most part. And in the same light, those same parents who have to depend on the different side hustles, whether it be waitering at a bar, selling pan chicken by the side, working in a bar itself, those persons are out of a job. Their income is continuously going down, while for the upper class and the higher income persons, they are for the most part okay. So just the fact that the inequality gap is widening, that is why I would give them a 6, because I feel like more effort and deliberate interest should be placed on the lower class.